Hello, my name's Steve Barrett. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of PR Week. I'm delighted to be here with Andrea Dawson-Shepherd, who's SVP of Global Corporate Communications for Reckitt Benckiser. Andrea, welcome to PR Week. Tell us a little bit about Reckitt Benckiser. You have this interesting philosophy behind the running of your company, which you call constructive conflict. What's that all about, and how does that actually work in a day-to-day working environment?
Well, first of all, we're very straightforward, so let me say it's Reckitt Benckiser,
oh,
as in freezer. So, what it basically means is...
At least I got your name right.
Absolutely spot
okay,
on,
well,
which is great.
1 out of 2 is not bad.
But this would be exactly like the dialogue that we'd have at Reckitt Benckiser RB, for sure, it makes it much easier. Constructive conflict means that we don't mind disagreeing with each other, as long as you do so straightforwardly and you do it in the room. And some meetings get quite emotional in terms of a lot of passion around, quite like an Italian dinner, come to a conclusion, and either your original aim or idea is supported or isn't. Either way, decided and you move on. Now that sort of dialogue is then carried on throughout the organisation. So somebody sends me an email. If it's more than a few lines, I'm wondering why. I'm fine to write back and go, okay, not okay.
1 or 2 word answers are fine.
Absolutely, and in part it's because it's very international, and actually therefore English is not everybody's mother tongue, and the language is not political. A lot of people who don't speak English that well can't very well do politics, so it's very low politics in the business, and that helps hugely with that.
So there's no backstabbing, office gossiping and politics in Reckitt Benckiser. Everyone's up front with each other.
Yeah, they are up front, but that, of course, is quite... you've got to be a strong, robust person to be happy with that.
So the type of people that you try and recruit and that you attract with your communications efforts, for example, it's a certain type of person who's a Reckitt Benckiser person.
Absolutely. So we basically say you need to be driven, you need to be very straightforward, you need to be personally quite an individual, really opinionated. So if you've got a view, we expect you to argue. And if you don't have an opinion, then, please don't turn up at the meeting. So that's the sort of way it is. And it's also very lean. So you get a lot of responsibility very early. So you need to be the sort of person that feels very comfortable with that. There's not a safety net below you. You get to make some big decisions.
A third of your income comes from products that were launched in the last 3 years. That's quite unusual, I would say, compared to competitors of yours, maybe like P&G and Unilever, the other big CPG firms.
It's on the high end, absolutely, pretty much the highest in the industry. And our view is, our mission as a business is always to be providing consumers with better product solutions in that few moments when our products can make a big difference to their lives. So, if you're cleaning, you want the cleaning to work there and then, and our job is to keep on giving you better products. So we'll put out a product quickly, and we'll then back that up with a further improvement, and that for us is a continuous process. It's not like a project. It's just part of how a marketer, a communication person has to think the whole time.
Okay, now you've got a new CEO coming in September. Bart Becht is ending his tenure.
Yeah.
How does a communications department, a global communications department, deal with that process, and what are the things you've got to look out for and prepare for before it happens?
Well, I think first of all was the announcement process. Bart Becht had been at the helm for 16 years. If we had warned about it any earlier, as some investors said they would have liked, then actually people would have been questioning, saying, well, who's coming, when are they coming? And as soon as you announce your successor, actually everybody just wants the successor to take over because that's then the future. So in quite a typical RB way, we announced it quickly. The succession is very quick. He leaves in the end of August and Rakesh takes over. But he's going to stay on as Rakesh Kapoor.
Okay.
And Rakesh and Bart Becht will stay on as an advisor to the board for about a year to help the transition. But Rakesh Kapoor, who is actually a long-term RB member anyway, was the head of our marketing, we call it the EVP for category development. But basically it means under his belt he had innovation, marketing, the 19 power brands, which account for about 70% of our revenue, and R&D. So really was the engine driving behind this marketing business, which is what we are. So, you know, new CEO, yes, but he's been involved in a lot of decisions on the strategy. And I think you're going to see the strategy carrying on.
Well, we will follow his progress with interest. And finally, tell us a little bit about the integrated nature of some of the campaigns you're doing. You've got a campaign going in the US with Woolite, where you've employed Rob Zombie as the director of the advert. Tell us all about that.
That's right. Well, we had this consumer insight, which was that actually Americans, when they're washing their clothes, are actually maybe over harsh with them. And actually, if you want your clothes to last longer, look brighter, especially in the current environment where we're all watching our pennies, then actually Woolite is a much better solution. So why have we used Run Zombie? Because actually it's a horror story what we're seeing on how people are looking at their clothes.
And he's, of course, a horror film director.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a really exciting campaign. It's online. It's a big PR element to it. It's actually got some cinematography in at the beginning of the cinema show in films, and I think you can see it's quite an exciting campaign with a bit of cheap attitude.
Well, I'm going to check it out, Andrea. I mean, I've been sending my clothes to the dry cleaner. Maybe I should be investing in some Woolite.
Exactly, much cheaper.
Yeah, absolutely. And my clothes would last longer.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us and
Pleasure.
telling us all about that. And we look forward to following Reckitt Benckise's progress with interest.
Right. Thank you.